Good evening, everyone. My name is Professor Jessica Murray, and I will be facilitating the session. I'm currently based in the office of the Executive Dean, where I work with a group of extremely dedicated colleagues to ensure that our postgraduate students receive world-class research training and benefit from a rich and rewarding teaching and learning experience. As you all know, we are currently struggling with various load shedding and connectivity issues. So I'll be wearing a double hat today. So on behalf of the Executive Dean of the College of Graduate Studies, Professor Tennyson Muguchini, I'm very happy to welcome you all to this Postgraduate Virtual Open Day. The College of Graduate Studies forms part of UNISA's research, innovation and commercialization portfolio in service of all the various colleges that make up our institution. We are committed to multi, inter and transdisciplinary research, and this focus is really at the core of all our activities, thereby providing a unique range of opportunities for master's and doctoral research under high quality supervision. We are here to speak to the national imperative to increase the number of master's and doctoral graduates and to help shape exceptional researchers who are equipped to make meaningful contributions to the knowledge economy, locally, continentally, and abroad. Our services encompass everything from postgraduate administration, registrations and examination administration, to supervisor capacity development. And throughout all of this, we are driven by the twin imperatives of ensuring quality and serving the best interests of our students. I will now hand over to my colleagues to tell you more about the specific services that their portfolios offer. Our first presenter is Mr. Doc Makwela.
Thank you, colleagues. Mine is a presentation on honors and postgraduate diplomas. Okay, I think I will switch off my camera. All right. Where we are right now is we are right in the middle of the application period. Our application started on the 1st of September, will go on until the 14th of October. We are currently open, so if anyone wants to apply for the 2023 academic year, this is the perfect time to do so. I'm sure I heard my colleagues beyond that date, we will not be able to accept your applications, so this is the right time to do so. I will touch on online application process, our online registration process, our cancellations, deferments, and exemptions as I go along. Our first point would be who can apply. First-time registrations for a formal qualification, a postgrad that is degree. Those are the people who can apply at the moment. Returning students who wish to change their qualification, supposing you're registered for one degree but you want to switch over to another one, then this is your opportunity to apply. It will not be done automatically. We will not say you are a current student, therefore we can easily move you to the next qualification. You do need to apply, follow the process, go online and do your online application. There are people who also want to do modules for non-degree purposes, with the intention of applying for a postgrad diploma or an honors degree further on down their academic life. You may apply now, but how you do this is you need to apply for the qualification that you'd like to be registered for. And that application will come through, even though you know that you might not meet the admission requirements. We need to look at your academic record, and then we will then inform you as to which modules you may register for in order to be admitted to that qualification at a future date. We also would like to see students who are completing a qualification and wish to further their studies in another qualification. In other words, a person is completing their bachelor's degree and would like to go on further to do their postgrad. Those are the people that need to apply now. so we are looking forward to receiving those applications. How does our application process go? Applications will be evaluated based on approved admission requirements. By that, we mean if you look at your admission requirements, we would say something like an appropriate NQF level 7 qualification. We will state a percentage and say 60%. That is just the general admission requirement. There are others. There are requirements in other qualifications like your honors BEd. They would say, for instance, apply with NQF level, apply with a 4-year professional qualification. So the admission requirements will differ per qualification, but overall, they will be similar in the sense that the requirement is for an NQF level qualification. What do we mean by that? What is an NQF level 7 qualification? Basically, it's your bachelor's degree or the equivalent. So you need not be worried about what an NQF level NQF 7 is. It's once you've got your bachelor's degree, then you may apply. But note also that it's not just having a bachelor's degree. You also need to meet the other requirements. Like I said, a 60% requirement in the subject that you'd like to further studies in. In other words, you may not, for instance, just as an example, apply for an honors degree in geography if you have not done your geography up to 3rd-year level, unless it is with the intention of having us recommend to you which non-degree purpose modules you may do, as I said in the previous slide. Then in that regard, you may apply, and then you will then be informed and advised which modules to register for. But if you do not have that 3rd-year level and you have no the intention is actually to register for that particular qualification, please do not apply for it, because the application will be declined right away because you will not be meeting the admission requirements. I'm sure that is clear. Okay, admission is also subject to the availability of spaces. Remember, we receive thousands of applications in any particular qualification. So not everybody that applies will necessarily be accepted. So do apply, and then the university will go through all the applications, and at an appropriate time will then inform you if you have been admitted or not, or if there are any additional requirements that you need to fulfill, such as the example that I gave earlier on. So that is clear. And then my colleague also alluded to this one. For students coming whose qualification were acquired outside South Africa, need to submit a SAQA evaluation. They need to go to the SAQA website, submit an application there, because we require it as part of the application process. Now, it's going to work slightly different for honors and postgrads. Although we will decline your application on the basis that you have not submitted the SAQA evaluation, we will give you an opportunity to submit the SAQA evaluation between now and the end of January. So it's not the end of the road if the application is declined by reason of lack of the SAQA evaluation. It is merely to say you may submit that document at a later date up to the end of January. Beyond January, it's something else. But up to the end of January, you will be able to submit that document once you've got it, and your application will be considered. So it's not the end of the road. However, administratively, we have to decline your application because you do not fulfill all the requirements for admission. Note that correspondence that the university uses is your MyLife email address if you're a UNISA student. If you do not have a MyLife email address, in other words, if you are a first-time UNISA student, your personal email will be used for correspondence. It's important that for those who have the MyLife email address, that you check your email constantly to see if we have submitted, we've sent an email to you with information with regard to application. Please note that if you get an email or you get communication from us saying that you have been accepted, please go online, accept that the place that we've given you to register within 10 working days. And I think that thus far that is where we are. Well, we do have a process in place for appeals. In the event that your application is not approved, you may submit an appeal. You may submit it online. You may also submit a hard copy, which you will find if you go to our. Let me show you first. You submit your. You would be able to go online and appeal the decision. That can be done online, but as well, if you go online as well, you will be able to get this form. You would use that for purpose of submitting an appeal. An important part that I would like to raise, and I will reiterate it as we go along, is that please do not send your emails to any other email address at the university. You might know Professor so-and-so or Mr. so-and-so in this department, or you might know an email address from another department, a popular one is study info. Please do not send any postgrad related matters to any of those email addresses. And please do not copy a lot of people when you send your emails. Send them to one of these email addresses. If you are in accounting science, send it to this email address. If you are in agriculture and environmental sciences, send it to this address. Send it to this address only, not to any other. Now, why we would like you to use these email addresses for turnaround time purposes. We know that some of our students do complain that we take a while to respond. However, if we get them to the right location, it's just easier for us to respond to your inquiry or your query much faster, rather than if you send it to another email address and then we're hoping that somebody will route it to the correct email address, which might not happen. So please do use these email addresses. I hope that is clear. You would then be able to get a much quicker response to your queries, not only your appeals, but all other administrative related queries that have to do with your application and your registration. Obviously, all others, if it's an examination matter, you would send it through to examinations. If it's a library matter, you would send it through to the library. But in this instance, for purposes of applications and registrations and registration-related inquiries during the course of the year, it's best that you use those email addresses, for a quick response, and also because they go to people who deal with these things on a daily basis. They will then be able to give you the relevant information, as quick as possible. There is something that you need to do once you've been. Let's assume that you've submitted your application, everything is well, that these requirements are okay, and you are approved to register. Note that if you're a first-time applicant to UNISA, you will first have to go through the MOOC experience. You would have to go to MOOC, but you will get the details later. But this is what you would have to do. This is intended to bring you up to speed as to how things work for a UNISA student. There is also a short video there that guides you in this process. It's quite a lengthy, shall I say, course. About, not lengthy, but about 2 hours or so. That's what it says on the rules there. But it is important to note that for you to accept the application, you have to go through this process first. So do not be surprised when we say go and do MOOC. This is what we are referring to. You need to do this. This is very important in your academic life at UNISA. The registration dates will still be published at a later date, but we know that in January we will be doing registrations. So we expect that by then you would have received correspondence confirming your admission or not. or soon thereafter, you will get that communication. Note that the processes of application and later of registration are done online only. So please do not go to any of our campuses for you to do an application, or even at a later date to do a registration. Everything is done online. There is no provision for workstations at the campuses for you to go there to do your online application. So please do it online. I know that a lot of students have got smartphones. We also have internet cafes, and as well as the fact that the last 2.5 years or so have actually pushed us to a point where practically everyone in the country has some kind of device, some kind of gadget that they're able to use electronically to submit these applications. Please do use your gadgets. Go to an internet cafe if you do not have one of your own, and submit an application. But I want to reiterate, please do not go to the campuses. There is no provision for walk-ins. It's only an online process. Just want to touch a little bit on the issue of deferment. This would apply for students who have already been admitted, say they were admitted this year and continued with their studies, but for one reason or another are not able to continue next year with their studies. Please do not just disappear. Submit a deferment application. You would also be able to do it online. Submit a deferment application. Why is it important? It's important because at some date, these deferments will go onto your academic record. So if you just stay away, that year will still count. And in cases such as your CAS, your CTA, where you're expected to pass, within a certain period of time, a certain number of modules, it will affect you because it will reflect on your academic record as a year that disadvantages you. However, if you submit a letter of deferment, we will then, it will reflect on your record that you did defer your studies. So please do not just stay away and hope that you will come back another time when you're ready. Submit a deferment so that the university knows that you're not coming back, as well as the fact that, there is a space for another student rather than that we wait for you to come back next year when you're not coming. I hope that is clear. Just want to touch a little bit on the difference between a cancellation and a deferment. As I've explained, a deferment just now is when you put your studies on hold for a certain period, but you inform the university. Now, when you do your deferment, you must do your deferment before you register. So once you are registered, it cannot be a deferment. So you must, before registration is closed, inform the university that you would like to defer your studies. You cannot do it in the middle of the year after you've registered. In the middle of the year after you've registered, the only thing that you can do is a cancellation. Now, your cancellation has penalties, let me put it that way. 10 days beyond your registration, if you cancel your registration, then there is a penalty. If you can, in the instance where you are registered for first semester modules, you would have to cancel your registration by the 31st of March, but then you would forfeit the minimum amount that you paid at the point of registration. Beyond the 31st of March, if you cancel, you will lose everything. For the second semester, it will be the 31st of August. Same, if you submit your cancellation before the date, then you would forfeit the minimum amount that you paid. Beyond that date, you would lose everything. For year modules, you've got a date of the 15th of May to cancel your registration, but then you would still forfeit your minimum amount. And then the second date would then becomes the 31st of August. So be on the alert that these two things are very different. The other one has no financial implications for you in the sense that you notify the university before the cutoff date, that you will defer your studies. The other one you do once you are registered. However, the cancellation has a financial implication on that. Your forms are also available online for this purpose. I just left this one towards the bottom for people who want to apply on the basis of RPL. For those who are not familiar with the term, it stands for Recognition of Prior Learning. So on the basis of your experience and all the other courses you might have done, and a whole lot of things that you've done that relate to the studies that you would like to do at postgrad level, there is provision for you to apply on the basis of recognition of prior learning. We do explain that online as well. So if you have the time, you need to go online and read up on what RPL is and what the process is, how long it will take. It's all online for you. Please do so. So for more information. Over here, you would have to go here to see, it's basically our rules. We kind of give you advice on how to go about all this information that I'm giving you now. You'll be able to find it online. You would know how to get, for instance, that's what we refer to as a CGS 0 form. You want to apply for exemptions, you'll be able to go there. There's a whole list of forms, but you'll be able to apply, click on the form that you need, fill in your details there. And then once more, like I said, I was going to reiterate this, please, please, please use the correct email address. Do not use study info. Do not send it to your professor or your lecturer or to any other department or any other email address, because it goes in there, it could go onto a bottomless hole. By the time it comes through to the relevant section, you would be impatient. Time would have run out for what it is that you wanted us to help you with. So please use these links that we have to get the information that you need. On this link, you would need to, this is very important, colleagues, that you go through the policies and rules for students. It is important that you know what it is that you're going into. Remember, you are paying your money for this. You're going to pay with your time. It's going to cost time for your family, for yourself. You are going to commit to a process that is going to take a bit of time from your life. So familiarize with yourself with the university rules. We do find that from time to time, students come to us and complain about this or that issue, and we say, but it is in the rules. Have you not gone through the rules? And we find that students are unaware of some of these rules. Please make time to go through all this. It's put online for you to go through and to see what it is that the university has. I want to reiterate, I hope it's not boring you, this is the third time I'm saying this, please only email the relevant college emails address that I showed you earlier on. We do have them online as well. Do not send it all over the place. This is part of what creates a problem and a lot of queries from students, because emails go over the show. And do not copy multiple people. Remember the saying that goes, what belongs to everybody belongs to no one. So if you send it to multiple people, this person will think, oh, person B will do it. Person B thinks person C will do it, and it might not be done. So please do send it to the relevant person. Always include your student number. We do find that people still want to communicate with the university, but do not include their student number. It makes it difficult to give you a speedy response. We end up going back and forth trying to get all those details. And as I've said, please use that email address that I showed you. Do not CC other UNISA email addresses. Use your MyLife email address. It's the only formal communication that the channel that the university recognizes. At the beginning, if you're a new student, we will use yours. But once you're registered, you need to activate your MyLife email address. That is the one that we will use. Once more, our email addresses, I think I can go past these. You have all seen what they are. They are online for you to know. Thank you. I think that is the end of the road for me. And as far as this presentation is concerned, thank you, Prof. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Makwela, for all that information, and especially for all the really practical tips and hints. And I would really encourage students, as I'm sure you've already picked up, my colleagues really know their stuff. So if you follow the advice and the tips they're sharing with you now in your engagements with UNISA, you can really help streamline the process for yourselves and save yourself a great deal of frustration. So thank you very much for sharing all of that. Next up, we have Mr. Tony Machila, who will be talking to us about postgraduate student support. Over to you, Mr. Machila.
Thank you very much, Prof. Murray, for the warm welcome, and good evening to our students who are joining us from all corners of the world. Yes, so I am one of the colleagues working in the College of Graduate Studies, and I am going to start with the services that are available to prospective postgraduate students. So yes, you heard me correct. We render services that are free before you can even register or apply. So for those who are struggling with career choices or employment opportunities aligned to their courses, in the case where you're not sure, or those who are applying for coursework, Ms. Ngobo talked a lot about those type of masters, and perhaps you are worried about the workload because in UNISA there are no classes and you are studying on your own. We have services that are free and they are being provided by career counseling and development services, and we have shared their email. These slides will be shared with you. And for those who are registering for full dissertation and thesis, Ms. Ngobo outlined that one of the documents that you need to submit is a research outline. And this is a very important document. And often those who do not submit it, they are disadvantaged. And we have shared a link here. It's 8 minutes to 9 minutes video clip where Professor Makua is unpacking what the research outline is and how you should populate it. And I must say, as a college, we are also collaborating with the Eastern Cape region on assisting the prospective masters and PhD students to fill this research outline. We will have 3 workshops in October where we will take students step by step in filling this research outline. So one of the outcomes of this workshop is that after you have attended the workshop, your outline will be almost 60% complete. And should you struggle with that, you can send an email on this mailbox, then we can share the details with you. So with the research outline, I am going to use briefly analogy of building a house. Those who are familiar with building a house, you know that the first step that you need to do is to have a sketch. So with a sketch, you will know how many bedrooms you want to build, the toilet, the ensuite, whether it's a double garage and so forth. And after you are clear about that, that's when you will approach an architecture who will then transform this into the dimensions. Then it goes to the last stage of the builders who build your house. So this research outline, it's like this sketch. So when you submit it to the department, they can already see the type of research that you want to do. So you can see how important the outline is. And once you are admitted, then this plan will be your research proposal module. Then this will be your dissertation or thesis. So it is very important to make sure that you prepare thoroughly the research outline that you're going to attach. In the next slides, I am going to briefly show you how it looks like, this template. It's a 2-page template. So with 15 items, that's what we need from you right now. And number 1, you'll see it's a title. So you must have a title. It might not be perfect, but it should be a working title. And there are 2 guidelines on how you can go about this title that we need from you. Then you can see from number 2 to number 8, these are personal details. Yes, these are the personal details. It's simple. Number 9 is a problem statement. So when you start with the research, normally there is a problem that you want to solve, and you are going to try to solve this problem using scientific methods. So we want to see which problem do you want to solve. Then the significance of the study. How important is this study? What value is it going to add to the discipline that you are studying in? That's the significance. Then the aim and objectives. They should be specific. So, and you need to tell us how achievable will be your research. Then we have research questions. Those who are going to do quantitative might have a hypothesis. You put it here. Then the literature review. This is just a preview. So you tell us what other people have gone about solving this problem that you are solving. What methods have they used, and what gaps are there? You can see number D that is talking about the gaps. So what gaps are there that you have identified, and how do you intend to address these gaps? And 14, basically research design. We want to see which methods are you going to use to solve this problem. Are you going to use a qualitative approach, quantitative approach? We want to see your sample, your population. So if you want to do a research where your population is the presidents in Africa, you see now we are going to have a problem, and it might disadvantage you. But yes, here we want to see the methods that you're going to use. If it's quantitative, the instruments that you're going to use to collect data, whether it's questionnaires, surveys. If it's qualitative, whether it's interviews or a focus group and so forth. And after you've collected that data, how are you going to analyze that? We also need the time frame on how you're going to plan and achieve these proposed activities. And the references, because you are now a postgraduate student, you want to see the references that you have consulted when you are doing this preview of literature, and some methodologies. So we want to see that, and it should be in APA or Harvard, or the referencing style in your discipline. So there should be consistency here. And also the budget, are you going to be funded or self-fund your study? So this is what we need from you. And remember, this is very important. And like I said in my previous slide, you can consult this link, and if you are struggling and you need to attend this one of the 3 workshops or all of them, feel free to send us the email and we will help you. Now, the library services. UNISA library is one of the biggest library in the Southern Hemisphere. We have close to 3 million items. Yes, you heard me correct, 3 million items. We have the big one at Mokulnek campus in Pretoria, the Science campus, and we have mini libraries in the Regional Services Center. So in all these cities in South Africa, there are regional services centers and there are libraries. And as a postgraduate student, after you have applied, after you have registered, when you go to libraries, there is a special place for you, like a VIP space for you as a postgraduate student with all the services. And I must also say that UNISA is also the first to host the first South African presidential library, and that one is also at the main campus. So after you have registered, we assign you a personal librarian, and you will have access to all the articles and books. And there are a lot of research training workshops and library trainings. So sometimes you will see when you try to search for some articles, it might be on Google Scholar, they will want you to pay for some of those articles or books. But once you are a registered student, We will help you to make a profile on Google Scholar using UNISA email. And every time you search any book or article, you will, I guarantee that you will have access to that because UNISA pays licenses. So as a postgraduate student, you will not worry about the resources. Your stress will be which one should I use because there is abundance of that. I'm now going to the statistical services. We provide you with, once you are registered, we provide you with data analysis software packages. We have Atlas TI for those who will be doing qualitative studies. We have SPSS for those who will be doing quantitative as well as AMOS. These are the free softwares. You know that they are very expensive, but once you registered, you can get them for free. And there is also training that is conducted by the Office of the Statistician. There's also one-on-one consultations. For those who will be designing questionnaires, they will take you step by step to design your own questionnaire and test their reliability and validity, and also go with you through the research design, data collection phase, data analysis, and also how to present your results. And I've also shared this, the dashboard. So this is the system where we capture all the activities and the interactions between you and your supervisor. But this is hosted by another department in the college, the Department of Quality Assurance. We also have Turnitin support. So this is anti-plagiarism detection software, and you also get it for free. So for those who will be doing coursework, when you submit your assignments, you will use Turnitin. But those who will be doing full dissertation and thesis, you will have 3 options for draft and final one for chapter before you submit. And there is a lot of workshops that are going on for Turnitin support. And we do this to promote academic integrity and research ethics so that when your work goes out, we know that it is plagiarism free. So even those who will be publishing articles, you know that when your articles go out, then there is no issues of plagiarism. You know that it is your voice on what you have published, so it helps a lot. And now going to the core of our college research support. I've noted here that we also have state-of-the-art science labs, but this will be addressed by your respective colleges. Colleges, yeah, in other universities they call them faculties, but at UNISA we call them colleges, and I'll stick to that. And other entities in the school, it's in the college, it's School of Transdisciplinary Research and Graduate Studies, as well as the School of Interdisciplinary Research and Graduate Studies. So these are the 2 entities that support you with research during your studies. Here I've shared a snapshot of those who are coming in doing honors. We will support you with the research training workshop so that you pass your research methodology module, your research report, but then there are also other modules that you will be doing, and you might find this research training workshop relevant, like your academic writing skills, the library training on how to reference and so forth. So there is also a lot of support on honor students. I know we are focusing a lot on MND, but I just have to reassure you that as honor students, as postgraduate students, there's a lot of support that we are offering you. You just need to make time to attend to these workshops. Now, going to the support that is there for our prospective MND students. We have the online accelerated postgraduate support program. This is a program offered by the School of Transdisciplinary Research and Graduate Studies. So for those who will be starting with their proposal module, there is a special support program for you. You can see here there is an online master's proposal development, and that is running parallel with the online doctoral proposal development. So for those who are doing the proposal, either master's, PhD, there are separate programs designed for you. And after you've completed the proposal and you move to dissertation or thesis, same thing applies. Specialized program to assist you with your dissertation or thesis theme. And we know that you might be struggling with academic writing skills or writing for publication. There's also special program to capacitate you. And you can see we also have online grant writing. So we know that you are an emerging scholar and you might apply for some grants, or others when you have finished your master's or PhD, you may want to be a consultant, and we capacitate you on how to apply for grants and get millions of grants to do the research that you want to do. And the Social Entrepreneur Cafe, many people will complain that especially those who are joining academia, that there is no money and so forth. So there are some programs that can capacitate you and expose you to the entrepreneur side of academia. And there's also academic integrity development. Dr. Maguela talked at length about one of the MOOCs. So this is also one of the MOOCs that we start you with so that you can understand what is academic integrity, so that you can apply it when you're doing your M&D studies. And again, we also have some programs in the School of Interdisciplinary Research and Graduate Studies. So in this school, we familiarize you with the UNISA research environment and ethics, and we unpack the components of a proposal. So we know that with your colleges, they will do a lot of workshops. So what we do, we do the groundwork. So in the case where you don't know what an introduction is, how to put your background, what a research statement or a problem is, what is the aim, how is it different to an objective, and your theories that you use, how do you choose the theories, what is a theory, how should they be aligned to your objectives, to your aims. That's what you do. And when your department comes, at least you will have that basic knowledge of what a theory is, what the aim is, and you can proceed. So you can see there is a lot of support here at UNISA, especially in our colleges. So these are services provided by the College of Graduate Studies. This is a home for all postgraduate students, and these are top-up services in addition to the support that you get from your supervisors, to the research support interventions in your respective colleges, in your departments. So you can see there is a lot of support at UNISA. We want you to pass as an M&D student. And here is a social media page that you can follow. So on Facebook, we have two groups. These are closed groups, the honors groups and the M&Ds groups. So these are the platforms where you can interact with your fellow students, and there are also notifications and so forth. So feel free, when you have registered, you have been accepted, to join these groups so that you can interact with your peers all over the world. And this one is specifically for those in Ethiopia. We are also visible on the UNISA Twitter, and we have the YouTube channel for the college. So most of the workshops that we do, we record those videos, and we try to edit and put them on the YouTube channel. For those who couldn't attend, at least they can go and check them on the YouTube channel, because we know some of you buy data bundles for WhatsApp and YouTube. So in that way, you can access these recordings. And there are a lot of other channels that we use. We also have groups on MS Teams, but that one, we'll talk about it after you have registered. Prof. Marie, that is all from my side. Thank you.
Thank Thank you very much, Mr. Machila, for that overview of the really extensive support we offer our postgraduate students. As you say, we are all invested in your success as much as you are. And just from my side, many of my own master's and doctoral students have benefited from these research capacity development workshops. So I can personally attest to the really exceptional quality of the work that's being done in that portfolio. Okay, then we will hand over to our next presenter, Mr. Skosana, who will be talking to us about postgraduate bursaries. Please go ahead, Mr. Skosana.
Thank you, Prof. Good evening to all prospective students and our current students and colleagues. My name is Oratopile Jeffrey Skosana, and I come from the UNISA Division of Student Funding, PG Bursary section. We have 3 sections, which is the application section and the awards section. And we also have the Inter-College Postgraduate Studies Committee, which is represented by each college's master's and doctoral and honors coordinators. And these 3 sections pretty much work together throughout the process from the beginning to the end of the application for the bursary for each student. Now, we offer the postgraduate diploma and honors bursary along with the master's and doctoral bursary. Applications will be open on the 1st of November 2022 until the 31st of January 2023. Now, it is important that students note that they have to register in 2023 in order for their successful applications to be processed successfully and have registration activated. So without a temporary registration, even though your application is successful, we will technically not be able to activate your registration, though you are awarded, so to speak. And then furthermore, we do not fund any special study programs that include certificates such as PGCE and non-degree purpose programs. Let's start with the postgraduate diploma and honors bursary. So who can apply? So in our section, unfortunately, we'll be focusing on South African citizens who have completed their NQF level 7 UNISA undergraduate qualification by end of January 2023. And in this qualification, they should have achieved an average of 60% of their entire qualification, not necessarily their majors or final year modules, but rather the entire qualification average. And also the students that we do consider are students who are currently registered for honors, but we only consider them if they have passed at least 3 honors modules at an average of 60%, so that we can assist them in completing their qualification in the following year, in this case, 2023. Students who may not apply are students who are permanent staff members of the University of South Africa, and students who already hold a postgraduate degree at the same NQF level or higher. That will be NQF level 8 or higher. So we will not be able to fund such students. Let me just skip the animations. Okay, so what does the PG Diploma Honors Bursary fund? It funds tuition fees only, and it funds that for the first 2 consecutive years of study. It does not fund any failed or repeating modules, and it does not cover any historic debt. Furthermore, it is important for students to note that though you may be eligible for the bursary, awarding is in fact enrolled from the highest performing student to the lowest performing students, meaning that even though you have 60%, it may be that the funds are only able to fund until students who have maybe, let's say, 65%, because it is subject to the availability of funds, and noting that different qualifications cost differently. So unfortunately, that's the status quo in our section. I'll move quickly to masters and doctoral. So in the masters and doctoral bursary, we cover the UNISA South African and international students who are doing masters and doctoral. However, preference will be given to South African citizens at an 80 to 20% ratio. We also cover masters by coursework students. However, masters by coursework students should have passed 2 coursework modules by 2023 January, at the end of January 2023. Furthermore, for the master's and doctoral research students, students should have completed their research proposal by next year, 2023, January 31st. Now, that means that the students that cannot apply are first-year masters and doctoral students. And we also do not fund Masters of Business Administration, known as MBA degree, and we also don't fund permanent staff members as indicated earlier on. So I do understand that prospective students who may be first-year students in 2023 are not necessarily applicable for this bursary, but however, it is important to know that moving on with your academia, what are the other options that may be available to you? So hence we're here to present this. Now, the master's and doctoral bursary will cover tuition fee. In addition to that, we'll cover what we call research essentials / research activities. Now, for master's degree by research and experimental research, the research activities limit will be 55,000. This excludes tuition fee. Master's by coursework, the limit will be 25,000 Rand. And doctoral degree by research, the limit will be 80,000 Rand. And doctoral by experimental research will be a bit higher at 120,000 Rand. Then now students would wonder, how then do I apply? So these are the tools that you need in order for you to apply. You'll obviously need an internet because UNISA is pretty much moving with the times. So we need internet connection. You can either use your smartphone, your computer, or your tablet. So if you don't have one, you may use your relatives or friends, or you may visit an internet cafe. Furthermore, there are a few steps that I would like to just outline quickly. So our bursary uses an application form currently. So we have challenges with students misunderstanding the form and etc. So I'd like to just outline a few things. Now, the first important thing is that students need to read the bursary guidelines and conditions before they apply, so that you ensure that you don't set yourself up for disappointment, and you ensure that you pretty much apply correctly, because incomplete and incorrect and late applications will not be considered. So you will therefore, the first step, read the guidelines, terms and conditions, and then you will download the application form. After downloading the application form, we advise, because it's in a PDF format, that you use Adobe Acrobat Reader. The links and all that information is on the form. For the honors students in particular, they will only be completing a section A and a section B. And then thereafter, they'll be ticking a declaration box and sign within the form on the second page, which I won't be showing necessarily at this moment. However, with respect to the research students who have supervisors, this will be then the M&D students, masters and doctoral. They will have to still submit their forms to their supervisors through their MyLife email account. And their supervisors will therefore motivate their application, meaning that they will be supporting you applying for the bursary, saying that you indeed are an excellent performing student, and they do support your venture in applying for the bursary and continue with the studies, because they do believe that you will complete within the years indicated for you to complete your bursary. Now, the supervisors also advised to be using the Adobe Acrobat Reader, and they will be only completing section C. However, they also have to just check if you've done the correct things on section A and B, so that we can fast process your application. Furthermore, when it comes back to you, although the supervisor would have checked you're filling in, you have to also do the same thing, ensure that everything is in place before you submit. Now, in order for you to submit, there will be no email address that you're sending into. There will be no hard copy handed over at campuses. You will only be able to submit the application form through a portal that is found on My UNISA. The link is on the form and will be on the website. So now, in order for you to do this successfully, we advise that students log into their My UNISA. After logging into My UNISA, go to their application form where they'll see the portal link and click the link. And then after clicking the link, they will have to, in a way, log in again, just to ensure that there's no ICT errors like we experienced in the previous year. And then thereafter, the student will go select their document from their device. So they'll be browsing for their document where they've saved it on the device. So you will have to upload the document. So you'll be clicking select document type, and then you're going to say application form. Then you're going to come down again and say browse. Browsing meaning now you want to find a document, which is the application form that is saved on your device, which is the one that is complete. And then once you've selected that particular document, you will then upload the document, which is only the application form. And then thereafter, you will save the application. Then you can submit the application. We advise furthermore, although students get emails after submitting the application, but we do advise that students take screenshots of a message that will appear on screen saying your application has been successfully submitted. And we also advise furthermore that the screenshot should include the date and time in which the message popped up on your screen for further references, should you not get the email or should there be any technical error. So that's pretty much it. So in summary, students for our UNISA PG bursary will not be students who are first year students in 2023 in respect to masters and doctoral. However, the students who are eligible in this regard in 2023 were for the ones that will be first year will be the honors students who are completing or doing their final year in 2022 currently and are wishing to continue their studies next year. That's the only students who will be first year students in 2023 that are eligible for the bursary. For further information, you may visit our postgraduate bursaries website that can be found on My UNISA through Student Affairs and SRC. Over that, then you move on to student funding, bursaries and loans. After that, you move on to the last slide, which is postgraduate bursaries. My colleagues will post an announcement on the chat box for you to see the links thereof. For further information or assistance, you may contact the two email addresses I've provided there, which is cgspgb@unisa.ac.za and dsfpostgrad@unisa.ac.za. Now, students may then wonder, okay, what if I don't qualify? So what am I going to do? The last option, so to speak, with respect to the bursaries that UNISA administers, you have CETAS bursaries that you can consider, you have the Department of Transport bursaries that you consider, and also a Helensburgh Trust bursary that you can consider. My colleagues will post the information on the chat box so that you can contact these individuals. So for CETAS, it will be Mr. Lesabe, who can assist you with those bursaries should you be interested. We also advise you to visit CETA's websites to get the correct information so that you don't have to ask something that is pretty much public knowledge. And then furthermore, you can be assisted with the Department of Transport bursary by Ms. Mackay. And then for the Helensburgh Trust bursary, you'll be assisted by Ms. Ndlovu. So that's pretty much my presentation. I do wish you guys the best. I know it's at night, we're all tired, but we appreciate your time and wish you the best with your academic career. Thank you. Over to you, Prof.
I am going to ask Ms. Penny Nzobo to do her presentation on application and admissions of master's and doctoral degrees.
Thank you very much, Prof. Murray. Good evening to all prospective and current students. My name is Penny Nzobo. I will be presenting to you today about the master's and doctoral applications. I will take you through the applications, admissions, and registration process. Welcome to our virtual open day. Allow me to switch off my camera so that I can easily present to you. Thank you. As indicated, colleagues, the presentation today will be about applications for master's and doctoral qualifications. Our applications have already opened. It commenced on the 11th of September 2022. The closing date is the 14th of November 2022. The application process comprises of 3 steps: the application for a student number and pay the application fee, and application for admission, And the third step is uploading the compulsory supporting documents. Please note the following. UNISA will accept application based on these criteria: the suitability and viability of the intended research, 2, adequate supervisory capacity and research expertise in the discipline or department, 3, approved selection procedure in line with UNISA's policy and equality and diversity. Who must apply at UNISA? If at all you have applied, you have, I beg your pardon, if you have never studied for a formal qualification at UNISA, and issued a formal student number, you must apply for a formal student number with UNISA. If you are applying for admission to a graduate school of business leadership qualification, you must apply for a UNISA student number, unless you have previously studied with us, of course, for a formal qualification. If you are applying for admission to a selection degree that is administered by the academic department, you must also apply for a student number. Please note that if you don't and you are admitted by these departments that have selection degrees, you will not be able to register because you will not be in possession of a formal student number. The next step will be on how to apply for a student number. You go online. All our processes are online, by the way. You go online and you apply for a student number. You go to applications.unisa.ac.za. As soon as you've applied for a student number, you have to pay a non-refundable application fee of 125 rands. Your application for a student number will be finalized upon receipt of the non-refundable application fee. You have to thereafter upload your identity document, passport, or birth certificate. Please note that if an application for a student number is not please note the following. An application for a student number is not an application for admission. This means that after you have applied for a student number, you are still required to apply for admission. The next step is applying for admission and uploading supporting documents. Note the following as well. Students applying for qualifications within the College of Science, Engineering and Technology, including the School of Computing, where there are qualifications like Computer Science, Information Systems and Information Technology, and students that apply for MSc Nature Conservation and qualifications in the Department of Decision Sciences. These students may apply online for admission outside of the prescribed application dates. If you go on your drop-down arrow, these qualifications will be listed there to show that they are open at that particular period. Selection degree students must know the different application open and closing dates. Remember, I indicated earlier that we have selection degrees that have applications that run outside of the application dates. Before you apply for admission for your selected qualification, you are required to prepare a research outline in line with the departmental requirements based on the focus areas that are available. This excludes MBL, MBA, Professional MCOM in Industrial Psychology coursework, and coursework LLM students. Please consult the guidelines on how to prepare a research outline. Just to sensitize you to this link, please go to it. It gives you an extensive guideline of how to prepare a research outline. It will assist you greatly to ensure that you come up with an outline that is very acceptable. When you apply for admission, make sure that you have a digital copy of all your required documents. These you will have seen when you go to the research focus areas. They are listed next to each qualification that you intend to apply for. The first mandatory document that is required is an official academic record which indicates completion of your qualification for all previous academic qualifications. If you are UNISEN, this is not required because we will have your documents on our system because you were previously registered with UNISA. Please note we also encourage final year students to apply as well. The next document that will be required of you is an identity, valid passport document or birth certificate, a research outline. This once again excludes MBL, MBA, Professional MCOM in Industrial Psychology coursework, and coursework LLM students. The next document required is a SAQA certificate of evaluation. If your qualifications were obtained outside the borders of South Africa, please note, if you have studied abroad a number of qualifications, but you intend to apply for a master's, for example, it is advisable that you apply with SAQA for a qualification that is required for the application of your intended qualification. You don't need to go and evaluate all the qualifications that you have. It is costly, but it is entirely up to you. This is just an advice from our side to say you you can just apply for the one that gives you admission. There are colleges that require a departmental questionnaire. This will be the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, and for the professional MCOM in Industrial Psychology coursework qualification. Students applying in the College of Science, Engineering and Technology must contact the department prior to applying in order to find a suitable supervisor. Will provide a letter of confirmation. Please note that this is very imperative that you do contact the respective departments within the college. There are links if you go to the website to the respective colleges of who you must contact or communicate with in this regard. A CV. A CV is also required in other departments. Not all departments would require it. If it's indicated on the research focus areas, you have to submit it. We also require proof of registration as a social worker if you are applying for a qualification within the Department of Social Work. Please note the following, that all documents indicated in red when you are requested to upload your documents are compulsory for that specific qualification. Academic departments have different dates on which selections for master's and doctoral qualifications will take place, but we do notify students towards the middle of February and beginning of March 2023 of the outcome of their application. No late applications will be considered. If you submit an incomplete application that is without the necessary supporting documents, you will be given 10 working days to upload the outstanding documentation. And please note that no documentation will be accepted after the closing date for applications. We also do not accept documents that are submitted via email. This means that you go and you upload on the prescribed link. Please, prospective and current students, you will receive a confirmation of successful application upon submitting all the necessary documents from MNDD at unisa.ac.za. Please note this email address. This correspondence will be sent to you via your My Life email address. And if you are a new student, you will receive the correspondence on your personal email address. Should you wish to apply for any of the following degrees, please note the following exceptions. Apply for a student number during the prescribed application period. These are those selection degrees we spoke about. I am putting emphasis on other factors that I've already indicated, like the fact that you have to apply for a student number during the prescribed application period. Because if you do not do that and you get admitted for one of the following selection degrees, you will not be able to register come 2023 January. Submit your application to the relevant department before the closing date specified for the particular degree. Please note that the dates are indicated next to each qualification. Familiarize yourself with those dates if you are interested in one of those listed qualifications. What happens after your application is received? If the application is complete, that is, the student would be meeting the minimum admission requirements and you have uploaded all the compulsory supporting documents, we will refer your application to the relevant academic department. You will, as a student, receive confirmation on email that the application has been referred for consideration. When the application is received back from the academic department, the student will be informed of the outcome via email. Please note that all students whose application for admission were approved or re-registering students who made sufficient progress, they will be allowed to register online within the prescribed dates. At this point, we have the 9th of January to the 31st of March 2023 as approved registration dates. You can visit unisa.ac.za/study to register from the 9th of January to the 31st of March, unless indicated otherwise on our website, but these at this point are the formal dates that have been approved. When you go to the website and try to register and you receive an error, please click on the Submit to Advisor button. This means that you do not have to send an email. You just click on that button. It will send a message to our box, which is the mndd@unisa.ac.za. We will resolve the problem and contact you. Your registration will only be finalized upon receipt of your study fees. Please note that if fees are not fully paid, that means you will not be actively registered. We expect you to pay the full fees that are required for that particular qualification before the closing date for registrations. Once you are registered, you are required to claim your free My Life email address if you are a new student, because beyond the point of registration, we will not be accepting emails from any other email address except the My Life email address. After registration, UNISA will only communicate with you via this My Life email address. Once you are registered, a contact person, supervisor in the relevant department will be assigned to you. You will find guidelines on how to plan and proceed with the research proposal on My UNISA. It's my.unisa.ac.za portal for students. Look under the resources in the specific department. My UNISA is UNISA's online student portal that connects you to UNISA. Please note that for any reason, should you not be able to register after you were approved for a qualification, you will need to apply for the 2024 academic year. It does not necessarily mean that if you were admitted for the 2023 intake and you fail to register the next academic year, when you come back, you just go and register automatically. It doesn't work like that. Remember, we source contact persons for you. So this means that every academic year, the contact person is given a certain number of students. So if you are not registered for that particular year, it means the place or position that you were given in that academic year falls away. Thus, you are required to reapply for the 2024 academic year. Thank you very much. I just need to highlight a few things just to put emphasis for you when you go back and you apply. Just note the following. Firstly, we do have a podcast that is available. It is posted on the chat where you can go and get a step-by-step guideline of how to submit an application. We also have brochures that are available on the different media platforms that you can go and source that will also guide you in terms of how to do this. I just want to put emphasis to say to students that are applying for a SAQA certificate of evaluation, please note that if you are in the process of applying, it does not mean you cannot apply for admission with UNISA. You are allowed to apply with all other necessary documents whilst you're still waiting for your SAQA certificate of evaluation. Just to also indicate, with masters and doctoral applications, you can only apply for one qualification. It is not possible to apply for two qualifications at the same times. And also note, fees will be available towards the end of the year 2022 for the 2023 academic year. Remember, should you not be admitted and applications are still open and you feel that there is another qualification that you qualify for, you are more than welcome to reapply for that qualification. Please note that departments do their selections late in the year and they have different dates, but the latest you will receive your outcome is between the mid-February and the beginning of March. Please do apply. We are looking forward to receiving your application for the 2023 intake. Thank you very much.
Okay, we've now come to the end of our formal presentations. Students have been asking questions in the Q&A box, and my colleagues have been responding to that at really quite remarkable and impressive speed, I must say. So, just another word of thank you to all our presenters for sharing their wealth of experience and expertise with us this evening. Thank you very much to all our students and prospective students who joined us. We really hope that you found some useful information in this session and that you are leaving excited and motivated to join us. We really would love to have you. Just as a final word, I think the session just reiterated a few things for me. Firstly, we are a persistent group and we shan't be deterred by challenges like load shedding. And secondly, we have an incredibly strong and talented team of colleagues who are committed to you and your success, really at every stage of your journeys, from those first tentative administrative steps right up to the finer details of your development as scholars and, of course, the completion of your degrees. So we are here ready, willing and able to help you, and we really do hope that you will consider joining us and making use of the extensive support and resources we have available to you. So thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have a good evening further.